Hey guys, it's Autumn, and welcome back to another D&D story time. Today I will be telling you the story of my Whitestone campaign as we left it, as they were heading towards Singorn and the things that happened within the city there. I have quite a bit to catch you up on, given that it has been a year since I've told the story, but first I wanted to tell you a little bit about the painting I'm doing. This is a painting of one of my villains, Raven. She is important to one of the main party members, so she became a villain in an interesting way, and I am very excited to tell you about her. This is done on Canson watercolor paper because I could not find my really nice watercolor paper. It is done with just a variety of watercolors in my Meeden palette, as well as the Faber-Castell Polychromos colored pencils. There will be a finished scan of the piece if you're interested in seeing it in higher definition. And I think that's all I have to say, so let's get into the story. Last we left off, I believe the party was heading towards Singorn, an elven city in the continent of Tal'Dorei. The elven city is also well known for being able to disappear on a dime, but that's not why our group of heroes is heading there. They're heading there to track down Poem's master, Storm of Wind, as well as Michael's sister May, who seems to have gone missing in that general direction, and with a plea for help sent by a bird using animal message, they are moving in that general direction. Along the way, they befriend a wormling red dragon that they nickname Shortclaw. She takes that on to be her own name, and she is quite a kind dragon, given the more stereotypical versions of dragons that the party is well versed with. Upon arriving in the city, they find somewhere to stay for the night and seek out information. In staying in a tavern, Poem and Agro believe they are being hit on by two women that they find attractive. Little do they know that these are two individuals in disguise who charm them and lead them off out of the tavern and away from the party. The rest of the party is unaware until Michael goes looking. Michael cannot find neither Poem or Agro anywhere, and instead asks the rest of the group to help track them down. The boys who were charmed are taken down a back alley pathway through the city of Singorn and trapped inside some sort of magically sealed cellar. They are bound to chairs magically and non-magically to keep them in there, though they both figure out ways out of this binding eventually. The two individuals reveal themselves to be Raven Valren, Agro's wife, and Storm of Wind, Poem's master. They fight briefly until the rest of the party gets there, with Darmel, Eileen, Rose, and Michael breaking their way through the magical and non-magical defenses of this cellar. They enter to see Poem and Agro being wailed upon by Storm of Wind and Raven. The two women are aggravated and irritated and fighting strong to the point where Storm nearly kills Poem before snatching Poem's sword, the Sword of Authorial, which is a custom item for our campaign, which holds Agro's patron god within a residuum blade. Poem, not putting up with this, goes chasing off after them, gets the sword back, and comes back with only a handful of hit points left. They get little information about anything other than they're pissed and they're going to chase them down or do whatever they can to cause harm. They did get a little bit of information stating that they had a hostage, Michael believing that this is May. So they wait and they hold out until they can find more information. Darmel goes off on his own to see if he can attempt to get some information. He does gain a little information, though it mostly has to do with the clasp and how they could be of use in obtaining Raven and Storm in the long run. So they go back and they rest for the evening, and they wait to see if they can again get the lead on Storm and Raven. The city of Singorn goes under alert, and the party is forced to leave, but not before finding May, taken prisoner but left behind in a rush. She's injured and limping and also disguised as a human under a special spell enchanted into a necklace. May is a full merfolk, or Triton as D&D would call it, but can walk on land with the assistance of a special pendant. Michael has a pendant similar, though it is more so for looks as opposed to the real purpose of being able to become human and walk on land with no issue. May, as a human, has the appearance of blonde hair and a pink dress. She's actually the subject of next week's painting, so I will focus more on her then. But that is mostly what is going down at this point in the story. Poem also has a dream of Storm and Raven speaking to an individual cloaked and out of Poem's view. This is granted to him through Authorial, as he is giving Poem a glimpse into a private meeting in hopes that Poem will free him from the sword. Poem watches as Storm and Raven speak to this individual claiming to be a priest or a higher up under the Raven Queen, though as discussed previously in another episode, they are not followers of the Raven Queen by any knowledge of Vax'ildan and the Raven Queen. So instead, he watches and tries to take note of the things that are occurring, such as Storm getting aggravated and saying that Raven is the only one that's being granted powers, and then the retaliation of this individual is making Storm cough up black feathers. Raven finds this amusing, and they continue on their way. After leaving Singorn under duress, the gang heads back to Amon and back to the keep in order to return to Gilmore of Gilmore's Glorious Goods to bring him the items that they requested, which was the whole purpose that they ended up on this side of the continent anyways. The original goal, which had gotten warped and pushed away at some point, was to go to Onoa in Dagger Bay and retrieve items from a colleague of Gilmore's who cheated them out of some of their items, so instead they hurled abuse at this individual. So that is where I'm going to leave the majority of the story for the time being, mostly because I have a lot more planned for the next upcoming videos. I also wanted to talk a little bit about the video. I'm trying a little bit of a different editing style. I know I say this almost every time I post a video, I feel like. But I wanted to include some real-time clips to show you just how slowly I paint and detail, because I thought it would be interesting to see, as well as just showing the difference in process from the last time that I made videos like this. This is actually the first time that I've painted like this in a while. I normally just work in my sketchbook and kind of doodle away and not do as many finished pieces anymore. Not that that's a problem, it's just something I've noticed in my work is I prefer to be kind of loose and sketchy or finalize it digitally. The line work for this piece was done digitally and printed out, and I traced it onto this piece of paper. And then I took 3 hours to finish this piece, which doesn't seem like a lot, but between that and the thumbnailing as well as the line art, this piece took quite a bit. It's not my favorite out of the ones that I've done most recently. I've got 2 other ones coming up, one of which being May, another one being a new party member that I'm introducing, as well as another new party member eventually. I'm not sure when that one will come out. I also am hopefully doing a video talking about where I've been, what I've been up to, and catching you up with the plans for the channel, either prior to this or post this, and that way we are all on the same page about what's going on and what this channel is. I had lost for a while my enjoyment for doing paintings like this and art in general, and I finally seem to have found the push to want to be more creative and do more artwork like this again. If you guys have any specific videos you'd like to see or have any questions about this campaign, where it's set, what's going on, what the story is, I am more than willing to tell you and specify if it hasn't already been stated in one of these videos. If you are interested for the whole story from the beginning up until this point, please check out my D&D Storytime playlist. I will be eventually separating out the Whitestone campaign from one-shots as well as campaigns that I did not run, and the other ongoing campaign that features Eris, Adric, and Anatentha. Then I think that's all. I don't know that there's much else that I have to say. I will probably put, if this video is not super long, depending on how it looks when it's shortened down, because I'm recording this prior to the final edit, I will put some nice music on and let you enjoy. If not, I will be ending it very shortly. So thank you very much for watching, thank you very much for listening, and I hope you will tune in next week for the rest of the story of them in Iman and further on through their travels. Thanks, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!